Hello, everyone. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is your
Weekly
Dose of Wicked. What is up? Welcome to another Weekly Dose of Wicked.
We're so excited you're here.
Yes, we are. So excited. It's your turn.
Oh, let's talk about business, Sierra.
Let's jump right into business. We have some exciting things going on this week. First of all, joining us on the level of the moderately wicked. She's awesome. She's petite. She says send it. Oh.
Amanda Kyer.
Woo, 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 woo. Send it.
Welcome.
Amanda is thebomb.com. Soon to be Amanda Whalen, because she's going to marry our cousin Brandon Whalen. They're getting married in September. Super exciting news. Cannot wait for that. But yeah, she's joined the Patreon because she believes in us.
We love you.
We love you so much, and we can't wait for September. And then in other news.
Don't sound so less excited. It's just as equally as exciting.
Joining us on the level of the extraordinarily wicked again.
Alan Harrington. Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah, go Dad.
Woo! So our dad got kicked out of the Patreon because he's poor. I'm just kidding. His card expired, so it kicked him out because his payment didn't go through.
His payment declined. He got kicked out. And then after we gave him shit for like 2 months, he rejoined. And he wants all of the perks of the Patreon again, even though we already gave them to him.
Right, so...
But he's expecting a new announcement, a new thank you card, and a new sticker.
I mean, he has like 4 stickers, so I don't know why he needs another.
I don't know, man. He also has sweatshirts and hats and all that good stuff. So I don't know, but it's what he wants.
Mom and Dad are our biggest fans.
They sure are. Although Dad doesn't share the Patreon with Mom, so...
Because he's rude.
He's like, if you want to listen, you got to buy your own. So, yeah, exciting news. We haven't had a Patreon in a while, man.
I know.
Speaking of the Patreon, Ashley, how do you get in the Patreon?
You go to www.patreon.com/weeklydose-of-wicked and you join an awesome level.
You do. You do join one of the great levels. We have 4 of them now. Slightly Wicked at $3. Moderately Wicked starts at $5. Awesomely Wicked is $7. And the Extraordinarily Wicked,
the best,
is $10. 10 buckaroos. And now is the best time to join the Patreon. And why is that, Ashley?
Because we're going to get our shit together.
Yeah, that's for real. So if you remember the Patreon, you'll notice that I've updated the cover photo, and it now says Weekly Dose of Wicked with Sierra and Ashley. New Patreon episodes the first and third Monday of every month. So buckle up, Patreons, because you got 2 episodes coming a month instead of one sporadic episode whenever we decide to put one out.
So we're going to try really, really hard to get them out on time.
We're going to do better than try. We're going to succeed.
Okay, but I'm just saying,
We're
just give us some grace.
We're on track to release a Patreon episode. This episode is going to release on May 31st. No, this episode right now, the recording is May 31st. And we also are recording June 5th's Patreon episode. So get ready for that. Exciting stuff.
And also, Ashley's going to edit that one for real this time.
Maybe.
For real this time. I'm going to do it. So give me some grace with my shit editing skills.
I'll edit it for backup just in case.
Okay, thank you, Sierra.
Anyway, so Ashley will have the first Monday and I will have the third Monday. So depending on who you like, that's what day you'll tune in.
I hope they like us both.
I would hope so, but I feel like they have to like one of us more than the other.
Yeah, probably.
It's like children, you know. Mom and Dad say they don't have a favorite, but we all know they do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't have a favorite child either, but it depends on the day, and sometimes I do.
You pretty much always do.
Yeah, but it's always a different kid, depending on the day.
Okay.
It's true.
My favorite kid's always the same.
Okay, well, mine's not. It depends on the day.
I'm just kidding. I love them all equally.
You're a liar. Anyway,
kids, your kids.
Hop on the Patreon, patreon.com, join it up, and support your favorite girls. Other exciting news? Nothing. That's all we got.
That's all we got.
I thought there was something else I wanted to tell them, though. Maybe not, though. I felt like there was something I wanted to share with the people. I guess maybe not. I don't know.
Podfest.
Ooh, yeah, they announced the dates for next year's Podfest, and we have already went ahead and booked our hotel because we are freaking ready. Not only are we ready to learn more about podcasting, but also I need a vacation.
It's a business trip, Sierra.
It is a business trip. It's going to be a tax write-off.
But we're going to go extra day, so
yeah, we are.
A vacation.
We're going to go a day early. so that we can enjoy it this time, unlike last time when we were running around like chickens with our heads cut off the whole time.
So this time we're staying at the hotel.
Yeah.
So no more trolleys for us.
No more. We're not riding that trolley ever again. Like,
we're just
no.
going to be big girls and pay for it.
Yeah, we're going to be big girls. We're going to pay for that expensive ass hotel. So that being said, now's the perfect time to join the Patreon because we need to save the money for the hotel, which is going to cost us
a lot
of money. And then we also need plane tickets. We're never flying Frontier again. So we're going to need plane tickets to Orlando that are not Frontier, any airline other than that. And yeah, and then, you know, like food while we're there. So join the Patreon, support us.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Give us your monetary donation of $3 a month minimum, and we would love you forever.
That's true.
Get a cool announcement on the podcast, and then also you get to join the Discord where we chat it up. I added a new channel for thirst traps and celebrity mail, like not male, celebrities that you just find attractive.
Right.
So yeah, join it up, chat it up, ask us questions, we'll answer them. You want to know our most embarrassing moments? Ask, and I'll gladly tell you Ashley's.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're so welcome, because I know what it is.
Okay, well,
anyway,
what you know.
Do all the other things. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and review. We're up to like almost 50 now, so that's exciting. Head on over to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We're gonna hopefully YouTube. Head on over to YouTube. Give us a subscription. Do that. Subscribe to our YouTube.
Even though it's all the same things you've already heard, you can hear them again.
Yeah, and then also hopefully here in a hot minute, we're gonna figure out how to broadcast the video of this so you guys can watch us be awkward.
I'm sure they'll love that.
They will. So we've got everything to do it. We just have not pulled up our big girl panties to figure out how to edit it.
We haven't taken the leap yet, but we will sometime.
Yeah, we're going to take the leaps here soon and get the videos on YouTube. So yeah, do all of those things. Show us your support. And with that being said, I think we should just jump on into it because this case is crazy. Okay, so Ashley and I talked about this. This episode probably needs disclaimers. But if I give you disclaimers, it gives away the entire case. So I think that if you're a member of the true crime community, you expect things to be horrific and disgusting. That being said, we're going to go into this case. It does contain a child, very minimal, I guess, on the whole child thing, but it is disgusting. Just going to throw that out there. Super gross.
Okay.
Not as far as like gory gross, but just like uncomfortable gross. So if that's not your jam, then we'll see you next week. But again, I mean, if you're into true crime, I think you can handle it.
Probably.
Hold up. I can handle it.
Anyway,
moving on from that. All right, so we're going to jump into this. Have you ever heard of Katie Pladl?
No.
Okay, and I might be mutilating that last name, but I think that's how it's pronounced. That's how everyone else pronounced it. It's Pladl. It's missing some vowels.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah. Right?
Okay, well, whatever.
Okay. All right, so this is a triple homicide.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there at the beginning. All right, so Katie Rose Fusco was born January 29th, 1998. So she's just 2 years older than you. I mean, younger than you. She's just 2 years younger than you.
Okay.
Katie was actually originally born Denise, but she was adopted by Anthony and Kelly Fusco about 8 months after her birth. By all accounts, Katie appeared to have a pretty normal life with her adopted parents. But like most adopted children tend to do, she did set out to reconnect with her biological parents. I put in here her birth parents, but whatever. Birth parents, biological parents, whatever you want to call them, when she turned 18. She actually did connect with them a little bit prior to being 18, but she didn't actually like meet them until she turned 18. So Katie met her birth mother, Alyssa, and her birth father, Stephen, who were actually still married, which is kind of interesting since, you know, they gave her up for adoption, but then they actually like stayed together and they went on to have 2 more children together. So a little interesting, I thought. Since, you know, majority of the time when you give a child up for adoption, it's because you aren't ready or it's like not a good, you know, atmosphere for the child. But whatever, they made it work. 18 years, they were still together, had 2 more kids. So here's a little bit of backstory on the parents. Alyssa was living in Texas when she met Stephen, who resided in New York at the time. They met online, so just think like late 90s chat room type thing, you know, Instant Messenger, AIM, all of that good stuff.
Okay.
Alyssa was 15 at the time.
Ooh.
And Stephen was 20. So that's a little bit of an ick for me.
Yeah, just a little.
I don't like that age gap. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with a 5-year age gap when you're an adult. But when you get into that as a child, I mean, 15, you're still a kid. So
right, 15
to me,
and 20-year-old, not the same.
No, 25 and 30, okay, all the power to you. 30 and 35, go for it. But when you've got a teenager, that's a little bit of grooming going on. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So anyway, after growing closer, Alyssa ended up packing her bags and moving across the country to be with Steven at 16.
15?
At 16.
Oh, okay.
16 years old. Not really sure how that occurred, but I don't know.
Okay.
Kind of weird to me, but again, I don't know. I don't know how that happens. The 90s were a little different, but I don't know though, because like our parents got married very young, and like mom's parents had to sign away their rights to her, like for her to get married. So I would assume that like Alyssa's parents would need to do the same thing.
Well, they must have.
Maybe, or I don't know. I don't know what happened, but just a little strange. But anyway, doesn't matter. Shortly after the move to New York from Texas, Alyssa became pregnant with Denise, aka Katie. Alyssa was 17 when Katie was born, so Steven was like 22 at this time.
Okay.
Alyssa was absolutely in love with her beautiful baby girl. She just doted on what a sweet little baby Katie was. Again, at this time, her name was Denise, but just to make it like not confusing, we're just going to call her Katie. Her name was changed at 8 months old when she was adopted. So Katie, she loved her, thought she was the sweetest little baby. Unfortunately, though, Steven became abusive, and Alyssa felt that the only way to keep her baby safe was to give her up for adoption. So allegedly, from Alyssa's account of what occurred, and I say allegedly because I don't think we can ever really know for sure, but this is what Alyssa said happened. Steven would pinch Katie if she cried to a point that she would bruise. He would put his hand over her mouth. He would shut her in a cooler to muffle her cries.
Ooh.
And at one point, he even held her underwater to keep her from crying. So kind of crazy that like Katie goes on to live a whole ass life and her birth parents stayed together and had more kids.
Right.
I mean, no judgment to Alyssa. She was young, but like to me, I'm like, that's kind of insane that like they went on and had more kids. So clearly they must have grown up, or Steven grew up, hopefully. There's a pretty big gap between Katie and her younger siblings. The second, they're all girls, 3 girls. So Katie's born in 1998. And then the next daughter was born in 2007. And then the third in 2012. So a pretty big gap. I mean, you're looking at like a 9-year age gap.
Right. Well,
Right?
maybe
Is that 9 years? Yeah, it's 9 years. 1998 to 2007.
Yeah, 9 years. Maybe in that 9 years he like went and got some therapy and he was a better person.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully that's the case. So that's what I said though, is like maybe they're in a better place by this point.
Right.
So back to our current timeline. Katie turns 18 and she seeks out her bio parents on Facebook because at this point, you know, it's 2000 and what did I say? 2016-ish. The timeline starts 2016. So by the time she finds them on Facebook, it's probably close to like 2014, 2015 because it's before she turns 18.
Right.
But she finds them on Facebook and they connect. They start like an online relationship. They're ecstatic to like hear from her. They want to have a relationship with her. So I said here that I wasn't sure where Katie lived at this point, but I actually do know she did live in New York still. So after adoption, she lived in New York. And I said, I would assume she still lived there, but I can't be certain of that. But I did actually fact check that later on, and she does still live in New York.
Okay.
Actually, in like 2 lines, I determined that she 100% still lives in New York.
Okay.
So Alyssa and Steven Pladl now live in Henrico, Virginia. Katie is set to graduate soon, and she's going to attend a local community college, and then she's going to transfer to SUNY Purchase. So that's what I was saying. I know that she's in New York because SUNY is State University of New York.
Right.
So I said, there we go. Yeah, she's still in New York.
Okay, good job, Sarah.
I know, right? Good job fact checking. So as graduation nears and Katie gets closer to Alyssa and Steven, she decides that she would actually much rather move closer to them. So in August of 2016, she does just that. Katie makes the move to Henrico, Virginia, and she actually moves in with Alyssa and Steven into their home.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So this here, I did like get permission from our brother here to like bring this up, but I just pretty much put in here like I can't blame Katie for wanting to get to know her biological parents, but like my heart broke for Kelly and Anthony.
Right.
And I know adoption's like a really hard subject, and like I'm not going to pretend that I understand how adopted children feel, but I do understand how an adopted family feels. Because when an adopted child, like when they make that jump and want to get to know their biological family, I mean, it does hurt a little bit because you feel like, you know, like I've been your family your entire life, and now you found out that you have like this biological family. You want to go get to know them, which they have every right to do, but it doesn't make it any less painful.
Right. Like you're happy for them, but you're sad for yourself at the same time.
Exactly. So I did ask our brother, because our brother's adopted, I asked him if it was okay to like talk about that, and he said, you know, absolutely, you're more than welcome to talk about that. So, but yeah, I just said in there, it's tough like to raise a child their entire life, and then their bio parents are there and they're like, oh, peace out. That's where I want to go. And I mean, I think a lot of times that does. I don't know of anyone who's adopted that doesn't want to get to know their biological family.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot of adopted people, but I mean, it seems like you would have to. You would have to know.
I agree.
Or you would have to want to know your biological family.
I agree, but it doesn't make it any less painful it's just painful for everyone involved. Right. Honestly. Like, I'm sure it's painful for the adopted children, 100%. But it is also painful for the family who, like, I don't see our brother as anything other than our brother.
Right. And, like, when they first get that, like, they do.
Right. They're like, whoa, you're not my family. But it's like 100% we are your family because we've actually been in your life your entire life. Right. And, like, I don't see you any differently. But it does. I feel like a lot of times it just causes a bit of a rift. Right. So this is kind of what happened here. Like, she said, you know, she wanted to go get to know her biological parents. And she had every right to do that. I don't blame her for that. My heart breaks for Kelly and Anthony.
Right. And I just find it kind of crazy. Like, all power to you. Go meet your biological family, get to know them. But I just think it's so crazy that, like, she didn't know these people and she moves in with them.
Right. Yeah.
That's insane to me that she just, like, takes the leap and moves in with them.
Right. Like
go move closer to them. Go to college there. Yeah. I'll do it.
Right. Like, definitely have a relationship with them. But yeah, I did also think that was a little crazy that she just, like, took this leap. Like, she talked to him online a few times and she was like, all right, let's move in together.
Yeah. I mean, different for different people, I guess. But that's a lot of faith for me.
Yeah, I would agree. But I don't know. I put, like, I don't want to harp on that. We know that Steven was not a good guy and that's why she was put up for adoption. Maybe she just needs to learn that for herself. And it's also possible maybe her adoptive parents didn't know. Right. You know, like, the reasoning for her adoption. It's possible. Right. Yeah. But, I mean...
maybe they encouraged it. You never know.
Yeah, you don't. But it's just crazy to me that she made that leap. And then also, like, what we know, that he was the reason she was put up for adoption. And then for her to go move in with him.
Right. That's
scary.
And,
I mean, she moved in with Alyssa as well. And I think through this entire thing, it seems like Alyssa only wanted what was best for her kids. Right. All three of them. Just gonna say, like, it does seem that way. Even, I mean, through the whole thing. Like, it seems like she always wanted what was best for Katie and her other daughters. And I do not blame her in the least bit for anything that transpires. But it definitely seems like maybe she would have put a stop to it. Would have been nice if she would have been like, hey, you know, you probably shouldn't move in. But no, she was more than willing to welcome her into the home. Right. So that's what happens. I said, you know, maybe Katie just needs to learn for herself what kind of a person her biological father is. And that's what she does. So Katie moves in with her biological parents and everything seems to be fine. She gets to know her bio sisters. They're 100% blood. You know, it's all her biological sisters and she's, you know, over the moon. That is until about 6 weeks after Katie moves in. And Steven starts to sleep on his 18-year-old daughter's bedroom floor.
Why?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to know. Why? Apparently, he would just lay there and the two would talk until they fell asleep.
I don't like that.
So Steven's 42 at this time.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there so you have an age. 42. Okay. His daughter is 18. Another thing that just so happens to coincide with this time frame is that Steven starts to change his appearance. So when Katie first met them, Steven had like a normal dad haircut, a goatee. He very much looked 42. But he starts to dress differently. He starts to wear skinny jeans, starts to wear like tight knit Henley shirts, you know. He grows his hair out, shaves his facial hair off. So he definitely starts to look younger. Like when I was looking at pictures, I was like, it doesn't even look like the same guy. He gives off like Nathan Scott vibes after his accident when he gets like that long, you know what I mean? He shaves off his face. Like it makes him look much younger than when he's got all that facial hair. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What season is that? 5? Yeah. Season 5, Nathan Scott, when he's like stuck. For those of you that don't know, we're talking about One Tree Hill. When he's like stuck in that wheelchair and he's got the facial hair and like he looks so much older, but then when he shaves that facial hair, it immediately like youngs him back up. Right. So that's kind of what it did to Steven. He definitely is trying to look younger. So when Alyssa shows concern for this, Steven Bruce just tells her, mind her own business, and he just storms off. So by November of 2016, Alyssa files for divorce and moves out. Apparently, Steven and Alyssa's marriage was already rocky prior to Katie moving in with them. But Alyssa does talk to Katie, and she lets her know that Steven is not a good guy and tells her about the reasons for putting her up for adoption. And she just warns Katie that she needs to be careful. But Katie just doesn't actually seem to care. And she continues to remain close to Steven. It seemed like the younger two girls, they had some sort of split custody arrangement because Alyssa still saw the girls, but then Steven also still saw them. Okay. But Katie stays with Steven.
Okay. Is Steven gonna kill all 3 girls?
I don't know what's going to happen. You're going to have to wait and see. So, unknown to Alyssa, Stephen and Katie have actually begun a sexual relationship
That's gross.
sometime between September and November of 2016.
Was this sexual relationship consensual?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would appear so.
Okay.
So by early 2017, Katie is pregnant.
Okay.
And Stephen has told his youngest 2 daughters that Katie is their stepmom.
What? No, I'm sorry, but she's your sister.
Yeah, no. Stephen is adamant that Katie is their stepmom.
That's disgusting.
I agree 100%. And now you know why I had to do this case, because I was appalled.
That's not a reason to do the case. That's a reason to say, okay, next case.
I was hooked.
Okay.
Alyssa does not find out about the sexual nature of the relationship until May 23rd of 2017, when she reads about it in her 11-year-old daughter's diary.
Okay, gross. But also, why is she reading her daughter's diary?
Yeah, so I said, I don't know where I stand on that. Should she be reading her daughter's diary? No, but like also yes. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I'm nosy, and I don't know if I can respect my children's space enough to not snoop through their stuff.
I mean, like, on one hand, she wouldn't have found out, it doesn't sound like, until...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I guess she had the baby, right?
I mean, I guess. But even then, would she have known it was Steven's?
Yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, like, that's your daughter's diary.
Right. And that's kind of how I felt. I was like, should she have been reading her diary? No, but also, I don't know where I stand on that.
Yeah, I'm very against invading your children's personal space. But at the same time, you have to protect them, so...
Right, that's kind of where I'm at. Because, like, yes, obviously everyone deserves their personal space and boundaries, yes. But then also, how do you protect your kids? Especially because her kids didn't tell her.
Right.
I just would hope that, like, my children trust me enough that they would tell me these things.
Right.
But I don't actually know, because the other day when we hung out with my friend, my children, a couple of them apparently were given money by this friend of theirs. And they did not tell me about it. I found it in their pockets. And they had to ask them, like, where did this money come from? And they're like, oh, we don't want to tell you because you take it from us. So maybe they don't trust me as much as I think they would. So I might have to stoop through their diaries. But between the 2 youngest ones, they had $13.
Oh, they took that from him?
They didn't take it. Apparently he gave it to them. Like, they were like, oh, where'd this money come from? And he was like, oh, I got it for a holiday. And they were like, oh, cool. Can we have it? And he was like, yeah, go ahead, and gave it to him. So I don't know. They didn't steal it, because he was like, oh, I made him give it back. Like the next day I made them go give it back. And they were like, you know, like told him like, hey, here's this money. And he was like, no, you can keep it. And I was like, no, they can't keep it. We don't take things from our friends. Like we don't, no. So anyway, I don't know, but they didn't tell me about that. So maybe I live in I look through rose-colored glasses, because I like to think they would tell me these things, but
yeah, I don't know.
They pocketed a bunch of money. I mean, for as young as they are, $13 is a lot of money.
Right.
They were really upset when I found it and told me to return it.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I stand on that. I'm not at a point, hopefully, that I need to worry about that, but I don't know, because my oldest is 10 and this little girl's 11.
Yeah. Ugh,
but hopefully I don't have anyone in my life that I need to be concerned about writing in the diary of my small child. So I did pull a couple of excerpts from the diary. It is really hard to read, because obviously it's the handwriting of an 11-year-old. Okay. And
I thought you meant hard, like emotionally. I was like, ugh.
No, I mean, no, it's not really. It didn't pull at my heartstrings, but it's just hard to read, because the handwriting is kind of sloppy, because it's an 11-year-old, and then also it was scanned in, so it's like dull. You know how like when you scan like writing, it just dulls it out a little bit. So it was a little hard to read. So I didn't get all of it, but this is just some of it. So it starts off with, Katie is my big sister. I really fucking love her. Oh. So in the diary, the fucking was bleeped out. Like it was like blurred. Yeah. But I'm 100% certain that was the word that she used, because they left the F. Right. And I don't know of any other word that would make sense in that context that you would need to bleep out. Like I really frog love her. I don't know. Like there's nothing that would need to be bleeped out. So I'm pretty certain it was fucking, and she also swore some more after that. So anyway. There's another part where the little girl says that she would get excited when her sister was there. And when she would say, hey, Sam, that in her head, she would say, oh my God, she said my name. Like she was just so excited that like her sister was there, which I thought was really sweet.
That is really sweet.
The next part says that it says, I would get depressed every time she would have to ride the train back to New York. which I thought was interesting because it kind of made it seem like she was just always in Virginia. But then based off this diary, it seems like maybe she was going back and forth, like visiting her adopted parents, which is great.
Right.
But it's just kind of when I was researching this, it felt like she didn't really have much of a relationship left with her adopted parents. But based off this diary, it seems that she did.
Okay, well, whatever.
Another part it said, this part's a little awkward. I don't know how I feel about this, but she wrote in her diary, I also loved how she was kind of skinny in areas and had small breasts. Okay. I just thought was a little weird for an 11-year-old girl to be writing about, but maybe.
Yeah, kind of weird, but whatever.
And then she wrote, but now she's pregnant and she's gained weight. And my dad calls her baby also his baby. Did he make her pregnant? My dad even says she's my stepmom. What the fuck? He doesn't even want me to call her my sister. Katie is my sister. She is probably his wife now. But in nature, she's my sister. Does she see me as a daughter or a sister? Katie now tells me sometimes to get the fuck up. So that's the end of the excerpt. So as I was saying, it's probably the F word because she said it multiple times and it was bleeped out each time with the F. So
yeah. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it was, I mean, very much like an 11-year-old.
That's so very confusing. Like that poor child.
Right. Yeah.
Ugh,
I think the 11-year-old would have been the younger or the older. I'm trying to do like the math in my head real quick. So Katie was 18. So I guess she would have been the older.
Yeah. So.
Right?
Yeah. No. Because it was 9 years.
Ooh, I know, but like that still doesn't add up. I don't know. Unless maybe by this point, I don't know. Because no, by this point it was like 2016. So I don't know. But it says her 11-year-old daughter. I'm not sure which daughter it was, but.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
I could just be completely wrong on my dates, but that's what I found in my research. Was the 11-year-old daughter and that they were born in 2007 and 2012.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I would have had to have been the older. Because 2012, she would have been like 4.
Right.
So, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Moving past that. Either way, it's confusing. Whether she was 9, 11, 13, it doesn't matter how old she was. It's confusing.
Right. Yeah, for any kid.
Any kid, that would be confusing. So, Alyssa reads this. And again, here, I said, I want to make it clear that I do not believe that Alyssa... I believe she only ever wanted what was best for her kids through this entire thing. I think that she did everything in her power to protect them.
Okay.
So obviously, Alyssa's going to be horrified with this information. And so she confronts Steven. But Steven's like, oh yeah, I thought you knew.
Yeah. Thought you knew what?
That Katie and him are madly in love.
But that's your daughter, you sick freak.
No, they're madly in love.
Okay.
And Alyssa's like, yeah, no, that's not okay. So she contacts the police. And she reports Steven and Katie for incest because, newsflash, that's illegal.
Right.
Regardless of what state you live in, you can't actually have sexual intercourse with your children.
Right.
So the Henrico County Police Department does question Steven and Katie. They also question the other 2 girls. But no arrests are made at this time as there's not enough evidence. I would say that the pregnant Katie.
I mean, could they not have what year is this? Could they not have tested the baby?
100% I feel like they could have, but she was still pregnant. Sometimes it's hard. Like, you can do genetic testing while the baby's still in the womb, but I think that's kind of dangerous because they have to go through the amniotic sac.
Right.
So whatever. I mean, that's fine and dandy. I guess they probably had to wait for the baby to be born. I feel like they probably could have done a little more than what they did, which is nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
So, anyway, later in 2017, Steven and Katie make the move to good old North Carolina. Nightsdale, to be exact.
I don't know where that is. Where is that?
I actually have no idea.
Okay.
I didn't look. To the interwebs, let's check real quick.
I don't know where my phone went.
It's a town in North Carolina.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
I don't know. I'm looking for a map. I don't know where it is. It's
outside of Raleigh.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of Raleigh,
by
east.
Garner. Yeah.
East of Raleigh. Okay.
Yeah, so east of Raleigh. So they moved to Nightsdale. And in July of 2017, Katie and Steven get married in Maryland.
How?
Well, we'll cover that. But I don't know why they went to Maryland. So I looked up incest laws.
Okay.
And incest is illegal in all 50 states.
Right.
To an extent.
Okay.
I would say that father and daughter is always a no. But there's quite a few states that let you marry your cousins and stuff. North Carolina is one of them. You can get married to your cousin in North Carolina as long as you're not double cousins.
Right.
So, but yeah, father-daughter is always a no. And a lot of states still allow marriage of relatives. It just depends on how closely related you are.
Well, and also, you just check the box.
Right.
that says we're not related.
Yes. Yep.
So that makes sense.
Yep. So,
there's very few states. Some states make you do like blood tests, but there's very few that do.
yeah. As far as I think New York makes you do blood tests,
I believe.
don't they?
Yeah, New York does.
I'm pretty sure, but no, North Carolina does not. But that's why I don't know why they went to Maryland. Like they probably could have just done North Carolina and checked they weren't related.
Right,
But
because
they
I
went
don't
to
think
Maryland.
they look into it.
Not as far as I know.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but
Maybe they just wanted to get married in Maryland.
I did want to say though before we go bashing the South, because I feel like it's pretty common that people just like talk crap about, you know, like West Virginia marrying cousins and Alabama, and you know, like they always want to talk about, you know, those kinds of states. I did look it up, and the only states that actually have like not super strict incest laws are Rhode Island and New Jersey.
Okay.
So both of those, it's actually legal for incest as long as the parties are consensual. I think New Jersey was over 18 and Rhode Island was over 16.
Oh.
Yeah. Marriage is still illegal, but you're allowed to have intercourse.
Okay, gross.
Yeah. If we have anyone listening who's married to their relative, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not saying like if you're super far, like if it's a farther connection.
I don't know my
Okay,
feelings
whatever.
on any of that, honestly. It kind of all skews me out.
I mean, me too, but it's your choice. It's your conviction, like whatever. But father and daughter, never okay.
No, father and daughter's not okay.
Mother and son, not okay.
I don't feel like cousin. I mean, like maybe second cousins or third cousins.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would never marry my cousin.
Right.
But like, if that's what you want to do, I mean, you do you.
Yeah. I don't know. Ugh, it grosses me
Okay,
out.
it doesn't matter.
It grosses me out.
Our feeling on familial marriage doesn't really matter.
What I found even more strange, though, is that in attendance at the wedding were Steven's parents / Katie's grandparents. And also Katie's adoptive parents were there.
What?
So Katie's adoptive parents said that at this point, they felt that there was nothing that they could do but support her.
I mean, I guess, but
I think that at that point, they were probably just like grasping at a relationship with her.
Yeah, probably.
But when I read that, I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like his parents?
Yeah.
Why?
I had no issue, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't really find a lot on his parents, but yeah, apparently they were fine with it. So Steven's parents were there, aka Katie's grandparents, and Katie's adoptive parents were there. And everything was going great for the newlyweds. You know, they were quite happy. In September, Katie gives birth to Bennett, which is her son that she had with her father. So she's, you know, like his mother, sister. It really, like, it
would be totally different. So this is like, I'm thinking about this in my head. So like, if they didn't know, and then, you know, they met, they fell in love, they got married, they had a baby, still be gross. But it'd be a little more acceptable. But like, you knew that was your biological father.
Right.
How can you change that relationship from biological father to now husband, lover, baby daddy? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Because I feel like that has to happen.
That people meet people and fall in love with them?
Yeah, and don't know that they're their family. It's got to happen.
It 100% happens. I just read an article the other day about a husband and wife who'd been married for 17 years, and then they found out they were first cousins.
Yeah.
And they said that they were not going to change their marriage. They'd been together for 17 years. They had like 4 kids together, and they're like, you know, it changes nothing. And okay, like at that point, I probably still want to advertise it, but okay.
Right.
You know, whatever. I mean, my husband's going to kill me, but my husband's grandparents are cousins.
Right.
Or like uncle and niece, or, I mean, they're related.
Yeah.
Which skeeved me out when I found out. But at that point, I was too far in. We already had 3 kids together, and I was like, well, too late.
Yeah.
Explains a lot. Just kidding. Just kidding.
That's really mean.
Not really. I feel like the only person who listens to this podcast that would be even remotely caring would be Jacob's sister, and she's the one that told me, and she was grossed out by it too. So if you're listening, then that was for you. Your mother-in-law doesn't listen? No.
Oh, it's not nice.
It's fine. I didn't expect her to. It's not a big deal.
Both of my mother-in-laws are Patreons.
Oh. Well, we can't all be blessed with 2 mother-in-laws.
Just saying.
Okay. Anyway, my mother-in-law doesn't support me in anything I do.
Okay.
That's fine.
We probably shouldn't talk crap about her on the podcast because your sister-in-law listens.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay, anyways, moving on.
Moving on from my mother-in-law. I don't even know what I was saying now. I was talking about Jacob's grandparents being related. I don't remember what they are, but they are related. And it was too late for me to get out. So, Awkward.
Well, that's not your own marriage, though.
But, like, they also knew.
Right.
But, yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Not my
yeah,
place
I
to
found
judge.
out at, like, their 70th wedding anniversary or 50th or something. It was, like, a crazy...
I thought you said 17th. I was like...
No, I said 70th, but it was probably their 50th. I don't know if they made it to 70 years, because Jacob's grandfather passed away. He was... I don't know, in his 80s probably. So probably their 50th. I don't know. It was a big milestone anniversary, though.
Right.
And I found out at dinner, and I was like, what? Oh, my gosh. But anyway, okay. It doesn't matter. I can get behind... I can't get behind it. I still don't like it. But I can understand if you don't know. Also, depending on the relation. But
Right.
father-daughter to me, no. I can't get behind that.
Yeah. Like I said, excuse
but
me out.
Also, okay, but also...
Your thing, not mine.
I could understand Katie as an 18-year-old easily persuade. You know what I mean? Like, I could see her coming on to her dad.
Yeah.
I just think the issue is, like, he should have never allowed that because he was a 42-year-old man.
Well, he was also 20 and his first wife was 15. So
I mean, I know, but, like, that's just the part that I don't blame Katie.
Right.
Even, I mean, you know, obviously she has to hold some accountability, but I feel like a majority of this blame falls on Steven.
Yeah.
Because he should have never allowed that.
Yeah.
I can see as a confused 18-year-old meeting your biological parents for the first time and, like, wanting a connection with them. And, like, your dad starts sleeping on your floor. I could see, like, why she would think that was okay. Because even at 18, your frontal lobe's not fully developed.
Right.
So I could see that. But he absolutely knew better.
Yes, 100%.
All right. So anyway, back to the timeline. September, Katie gives birth to Bennett. In November of 2017, the Henrico Police Department issues arrest warrants for the incest case that they have open.
Okay.
So the two are arrested for incest as well as adultery since their relationship began while Steven was married to Alyssa.
They both got arrested?
Yes.
Okay.
They both got arrested. The two are released on bond, but they are ordered to have no contact.
Okay.
So at this point, Steven's mother is given custody of baby Bennett, and Katie goes back to live with her adoptive parents in New York.
Okay.
So this actually seems to be really good for Katie because somehow, after a few months, somebody got through to her. I don't know who it was, but somebody talked some sense into her, and she actually decides that she needs to put an end to her relationship with her father.
Okay.
And this is where things get ugly very quickly. So Katie's not supposed to contact Steven, but of course she does anyway because she wants to let him know that their relationship is over. So on April 11th, Steven goes to his mother's house and he picks up Bennett. I don't know if this was allowed. Like, I don't know if they had some sort of visitation. I kind of feel like he shouldn't have been allowed to pick Bennett up.
No.
So I don't know if it was an allowed visitation or if they were, like, bending the rules and his mother was letting him take him. Nonetheless, though, he takes Bennett back to his home in Knightsdale, North Carolina, where he had previously lived with Katie. He then suffocated the 7-month-old baby and leaves his body in the home, where he would later be found by Steven's mother. He apparently called his mother and told her, like, that he had killed Bennett and then just, like, stopped talking to her. So she called 911. There's actually a heartbreaking 911 call. I was going to play it, but I didn't really feel like it was super necessary. It's essentially just, like, where she calls and she's like, my son killed his baby and he left a key under the mat. So he, like, left a key for them to go in and get the body. But there was no, like, trauma. So they decided suffocation was how he passed.
Okay.
So Steven suffocates Bennett. He then jumps in his car and he drives. Do you want to guess where he drove?
To Katie.
Yeah. So he drove all night until he reached Katie's home that she was sharing with her adoptive parents. And on April 12th of 2018, Steven watches and waits for his opportunity. He sees Katie leave the home. He sees Katie leave the home and get into the car with her adoptive father, Anthony. When Katie and Anthony leave, Steven follows them. They drive from Wingdale, New York. I was going to say North Carolina. They drive from Wingdale, New York to New Milford, Connecticut, which is about a 20 to 30 minute drive. When Katie and Anthony stop at a stop sign between Route 7 and Route 55, essentially it seems like it was a 4-way stop. So when they stopped at that stop sign, Steven pulled next to them on the passenger side and shot Anthony and Katie with some sort of an assault rifle multiple times. So they died pretty immediately. He then turned the gun on himself and took his own life. And that's where the three are found.
I don't like him.
No. Unfortunately, though, this is not an isolated occurrence. There's actually a theory called genetic sexual attraction, which essentially is when genetically related relatives are separated at a very young age, and they therefore never develop like an appropriate relationship with each other. So then when they do meet and get closer, they end up developing an attraction or some sort of a sexual relationship with each other.
Right. Well, you know, like Freud's theory.
I don't know Freud's theory. Please fill me in.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Freud, is that, like, boys are attracted to their mother and, like, try to outbeat their father, and girls are attracted to their father and try to, like, outbeat their mother.
I don't think that's Freud's theory.
I think it is.
I think you pulled that from Greek mythology.
Oh, maybe.
Is that Freud?
What's that guy that stabbed his eyeballs out? That's Greek mythology. Are you Googling Freud's theory?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it has something to do. It's,
the Oedipus.
Yeah, Oedipus complex, yes.
Yeah.
But is that Freud?
Yes. Freud said that a boy develops an unconscious infatuation towards his mother and simultaneously fears his father to be a rival. So I guess it I don't know if it goes the other way.
Yeah, it's the Oedipus complex. That makes sense. Oedipus is Greek mythology.
Right.
Where the son married the mother.
I don't think he married her. I think he slept with her. He killed his dad and then he stabbed his eyes out.
I don't know. I took a whole course in high school on Greek mythology, but I don't know.
I took a course in college.
I don't know.
I failed it.
I definitely thought that he married his mother.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but...
It matters to me.
Okay.
It matters to me. Yes, he married him. He married his mother. It says Oedipus found out that he killed Laius, his father, and he married his mother, Jocasta. He was horrified, so he gouged out his eyes and exiled himself. But I knew he married her. Okay, whatever. Regardless, this is not Oedipus theory. This is
a different thing. Okay.
Genetic sexual attraction.
I'm just saying it's not like super uncommon, I don't think, for like people to be attracted to their parents. I mean,
I think at a very young age when you're making those normal like childhood connections. I mean, like Sterling proposed to mom like once a week for like 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
My only son tried to French me that one time, and I had to explain to him why he wasn't allowed to do that. Right. But like again, that's like very young children when they're making those connections of like when they're learning about relationships. Right. So that's what this theory is that like if they don't have that proper
if they don't have that
connection with those biological people in their lives, then when they do meet them, there's a connection and they don't know how else to explain it. So it becomes sexual. But then I did go on to look more into it, and it said like scientifically there's very little evidence to back this, and that most scientists actually claim that it is a pseudoscience, so that it's not scientifically factual at all. It's just like a reason for them to like for people to
explain it,
make it okay to have relationships with family in an ancestral way. So
interesting.
But it's not uncommon. Like there's a lot of people, like there's a whole list of people who ended up having relationships with like their parents because they were adopted as small children.
Interesting.
Is it interesting? Because I thought it was weird.
I mean, you know, I like psychology. I think it's very interesting, all of it. So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's weird, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's weird,
kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, like poor Bennett did nothing.
I know.
Just a bystander.
And he lost both his parents.
Right. I mean, he's gone, so it doesn't matter.
Oh. I forgot.
It's not funny, actually.
No, it's not funny.
It doesn't matter they lost his parents because he was murdered by his father.
I did not recall that happening.
I do not recall.
Well, you said triple homicide, so I was still thinking only the 3 of them.
Yeah, it's a triple homicide with a suicide.
Right. I was thinking 3.
I left out the suicide part, though, because I wanted to leave that for like a little suspenseful surprise.
Well, I'm glad he didn't kill all 3 daughters, because I was worried about that. I mean, not that this is any better, but...
Right. I don't know. It was crazy, though.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's why I had to do it. You're like, you didn't have to do it. I did, though, because I was like, this is kind of like insane. Like, I've got to tell Ashley about this.
Yeah. No, it is pretty
because I know that you would appreciate the psychology of it.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's 100% a psychology thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, like, Katie, I feel like, obviously, like, she's got to take some responsibility because she shouldn't have slept with her father.
Right.
But she was 18.
Right.
I feel for her.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he took advantage of her. Like, he took advantage of Alyssa, and then he took advantage of Katie.
Yeah, he did.
Like, that's how I feel about that.
Definitely.
And it's also crazy, like, the difference of, like, the appearance. Like I told you, that he, like, shaved off his facial hair and whatnot. I'm going to see if I can pull up. I'm going to send you a picture because I just feel like you need to see like the difference because it really made a difference of like how he looked.
Okay.
I think. So like this one I'm going to send you is when they met. Okay. And he very much looks like a 40-year-old father. Like honestly, like this picture right here, I'm like, oh yeah, like totally daughter and father. I don't think anything of it, right? So there it is, coming your way. Texting it to you across the table.
I don't know why you couldn't have just like shown me.
Because I don't remove my computer. It makes so much noise.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Okay.
Looks like a dad.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And now this is...
In this picture, she's 18.
Yeah.
She just looks a little.
Yeah, well, she's not little. She's 18. I mean, she's freshly 18. She just graduated high school. And then this is their wedding. I don't even feel like it looks like the same person.
I don't feel like either of them look like the same person.
I agree.
Like
well, she was pregnant.
Yeah, but you can't really tell she's pregnant because of her black dress.
Yeah, but I mean, she's definitely big. Like, you can tell that she's big.
I mean, she just looks like it doesn't look like she's pregnant, in my opinion. It just looks like she gained a little weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like way younger. She looks older. So who are these other people in the picture? Do you know?
I don't know who all of them are, but I would assume some of them are his parents. I think the one on the left is his mother, and I think the people on the right are her adopted parents.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I think. So I also wonder, too, about her...
And, like, her parents, if those are her parents, they do not look pleased.
No, they don't. And then I also wonder, too, though, do you think that Anthony was an intentional target?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, you know, I guess he could be an intentional target, but, like, I don't know why he wanted and, like, kill both of her parents.
Right.
If that was the case. Or maybe it was just opportunity.
Yeah. I just wonder if, like, he meant to kill Anthony or if he was just trying to kill Katie.
I don't feel like he was
But I also don't understand why he had to kill Bennett.
No, that had nothing to do with
I don't understand why he felt the need to do that.
Because he's a crazy person.
I know, but I just don't understand why. Like, he went out of his way to go pick the baby up and kill him.
Yeah. I got nothing.
I don't know. The whole thing is crazy to me.
What I was going to say before you interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I feel like at that point, like, he might have meant to kill him, like, both of them together. But had he not been there, he might not have killed him. Like, right. I don't know that he intentionally wanted to kill the father. Right. But because they were together, he couldn't have just killed Katie and not killed both of them. Because then maybe I mean, if he was planning to kill himself, I guess it doesn't really matter. But if he would have just killed Katie, then Anthony would have saw him. Because he pulled up next to them. So then he would have been a witness. Right. But he was also planning to kill himself, so I don't know that really matters. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought, like, that change was crazy, like, honestly, because I just feel like he, like, in that first picture, like, he very much just looks like a dad. Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a totally different person. Yeah, like, nothing wrong. He just looks like a normal dad. He's got his goatee, like, he's wearing his dad pants, he's wearing his dad shoes, he's wearing, like, an oversized t-shirt, like, he looks like a dad. Yeah. In the next picture, he does not. No, and then he's, like, completely different person. I don't know. That whole thing was crazy, though. Yeah, definitely crazy. So, I don't know, guys. Write in. Tell us what you think. When I say write in, I mean go to P.O. Box 1142, Trenton Grove, North Carolina. Give us some snail mail. Or email us. I prefer snail mail. I get real sick of checking the post office box and getting nothing. Yeah, send us something. Come on, guys. Just send me something. Send me a sticker. I don't care. Anything. Send me anything you want. I just get lonely, and I get sick of checking the box for nothing. Oh, quit checking it. I don't have a choice. I have to. All right, well, I think that's it. Wrap it up. I just made a horrible mistake. Why? What'd you do? I accidentally closed out my tab that had all my sources. Why would you do that? I didn't mean to. It was an accident. That sucked. Oh, well, that's my problem, not yours. All right, well, I hope you guys have a fabulous day. We'll catch you next week when we cover a whole new case. Bye. Bye. Hey, everyone. If you like what you heard and you want to support a small podcast, please give us money at www.patreon.com/weekly dose of wicked, where you can join one of our 4 amazing tiers, starting at just a measly $3 a month. That's literally 10 cents a day.
you can join the Slightly Wicked. After that, we've got the Moderately Wicked for just $5 a month, followed by the Awesomely Wicked for $7 a month. And for those high rollers, big ballers, we have the Extraordinarily Wicked. So head on over, check it out. If you like what you see, join it up.
If subscriptions aren't your jam, head on over to
www.buymeacoffee.com/WDOW, where you can give us a one-time donation to buy us a coffee or, like podcasting equipment, which would probably be a better use of our money.
Feel free to give us a follow on
Instagram at weekly_dose_of_wicked, or you can just search Weekly Dose of Wicked and we'll pop up because we're the only ones.
Or you can give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/weeklydoseofwicked.
Or you know what? You could just do both because that would be better for us.
For a direct feed of our podcast, please go to
www.weeklydoseofwicked.buzzsprout.com.
Great news, guys. We've made it big time, and you can now listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yep. Even Pandora. They finally let us in.
Make sure to come back next Wednesday for your
Weekly Dose of Wicked. Ba-dum-psh.